Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Thanks for joining me and Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton here on New Life Live. Hello, Alice and Jill.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Steve.
Well, it's good to be with you guys, and
Yes.
I want to start by telling folks that on Monday I announced a couple of free things, and one of the free things that I announced was free shipping on 4 books that were discounted in price. So you get the book cheaper and free shipping, and we had people order 500 books in one day, which is a lot of books for one day. So anyway, so I'm going to tell you about that. If you didn't listen, maybe you only listen on Friday, maybe you don't, I don't know. But here it is. It's a special offer for either finishing strong after you've been living well. So it's Living Well, Finishing Strong. That's Dave's last book. The last book he and I wrote together is The Soul of a Hero. And then it's also free shipping and reduced rate on understanding and loving your child who smokes pot and your child who has ADHD. So those are 4 books. Any of the 4, you get the free shipping and the reduced price. Also, you can get downloaded just by going to newlife.com. You can get downloaded the 5 irrefutable truths that will transform your life. Any one of the 5 can be transforming, and it's always fun to throw something out there like that for all of the skeptics to see if, well, are they really irrefutable? Could they really be transformational? I think you'll find them really, really helpful. Anyway, all of that at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or newlife.com. You guys doing all right today?
We sure are.
Yeah, we are doing great.
Well, you know,
Heading into fall, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and the holidays and family things. And it's never too early to just tell folks, be sure you're not planning on trying to change something during those family gatherings. That is the time to show love in spite of, is what I think is so important to do, not your agenda.
Right. You know, on another show, Steve, we were talking about how sometimes we don't always have to be someone that's fighting for justice in our family.
Oh, so true.
Right?
So
and
true.
that
Yeah.
sometimes we just have to realize what people are capable of and focus on what good that they bring and that they have, and then minimize the effects of the negative.
And
Yeah.
when we're slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to anger, family meals go better.
They do.
Yeah, no question. But, you know, I do think that every person getting together over the holidays, just trying to lower your expectations of results and increasing your presence to be relational. I mean, that really
Yes.
is something that could change a lot of things for a lot of people.
Right.
Hopefully
Leaving
it
some of
will.
the baggage at the door, right? And
Or all of
and
it.
yeah. and focusing on being present and connecting, right?
Yeah.
Connect with someone a little more than you usually do.
You know what's sad is when somebody is in relationship with someone, they've got all these problems, and their target is big, like it's 4 rings of target, and you think you're so much better because you only have 3 rings of target. Well, we got to work on our 3 rings, not their 4. And it is amazing when we go to work on us, it has an impact on them.
It does.
When we go to work on them, it has no impact on them other than to be more defensive, to stand their
Right.
ground, to guard their territory, defend their rights. We get the exact opposite of what we want. You don't have to pay anything for that. All right, stay tuned. We'll go to the calls right after this. 1-800-229-3000.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Let's talk with Frank from Jacksonville. And, of course, he listens on Sirius XM satellite radio. If you want to do that, it's channel 131 at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or it's 1 p.m. Eastern time. Hey, Frank, how are you today, and what's going on?
I thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm going to be a little nervous here, and this might be kind of a heavy topic, but I haven't talked to anybody about this, and I'll give you the bullet points as quick as possible. I've been married for 21 years. I have a now 17-year-old daughter that my wife and I have been having a problem with online pornography and her doing things she's not supposed to since she was about 12.
That's rough.
4 years ago, I asked my wife if we could go to our pastor for counseling, and the end result is I no longer live in that house.
Oh.
She adamantly is opposed to my Christianity. Now, my problem is this, and again, I've not spoken to anyone except one pastor about this, but 2.5 years ago, I was spending time with my daughter, who was not quite 15 yet, and I was at a hotel where she was staying with me, and she was sitting on the bed with a laptop, and I just glanced at what she was doing, and she was doing it again. She was chatting with a 37-year-old man and trying to figure out how he could come meet her at the hotel, and she was not even 15. And I exploded on her, and I lost it. And then when I so I didn't know what to do. I just yelled at her, and then I hugged her, and I said, you're going home. And I dropped her off at home. Now flash forward about 4 months, I get a call from the police department in their area. Her mother's taken her to a hospital. She's cutting on herself. She's claiming that it's because of my actions towards her. And so I go and talk to the police officer, and I tell him my side of what happened. And now I'm waiting to go to trial, and it's been 2 years on child molestation. I've never touched my kid.
This is horrible.
You're being accused by your wife of having molested your daughter?
No, my daughter allegedly told the county counselor that the hospital sent her to for cutting that because I touched her inappropriately, that's why she's cutting. And now I'm facing, 25 years in Georgia for child molesting.
And
I lost
what
my
does
job as a music minister.
Okay, so what?
It's a nightmare.
What kind of attorney, legal representation do you have?
I have a public defender. I called every single attorney I could, and I found one guy that would do the case in Atlanta, Georgia, and he said I got to put $25,000 up front. Well, a little hard to do when COVID hit at the exact same time, and I've been unemployed for 18 months.
Okay, so how are you hoping that we could help you here today?
I don't want to lose my faith, and if God wants me to go to prison for something I didn't do, then there's got to be a reason why I'm being put there.
Now, wait a second. Hold on. If you go to prison, that doesn't mean God wants you to go to prison. Do you understand that? There are a lot of things that happen because we live in a fallen world. God doesn't prevent horrible things from happening. He's there with us through those things, but there are literally innocent people in prison. They're not there because that's what God wanted for them. It's a corrupt system that we have sometimes, or poor attorneys or things like that. But God wants the good things for you. So we can't put every bad thing on God. If we were living in the garden, well, it would be a different world for us. But we're not. It's a fallen world.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm not viewing this as God putting bad things on me. I'm just, if this is something that's being allowed to happen,
that's different though. If God, that's different.
So that God will make use of it. You're right, Frank.
Yes, that's right.
But I feel like you're a lamb going to slaughter here because of lack of resources. Time has passed now, and I'm wondering who you have in your corner. What people would rally around? Who would loan you the money to plead your case here? Because
that's a great question.
Right? And something's not right here. This daughter getting into internet stuff and mom not intervening, right? I think your daughter needs you around, and I realize they've pushed you away. But your daughter does need you, and eventually that things may come back around.
Frank, I think that in your understandable fear, you have reacted first with anger, then with fear, and then I think you've withdrawn. Although I know you've made attempts to get help for your family. Okay, you see that about yourself. It stands out to me, Frank, that when you found out your daughter was cutting and hospitalized, you went to the police rather than getting in touch with the hospital or with the clinicians. Have you thought about...
Nobody would talk to me.
You've made the attempts?
Oh, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have diligently tried to be proactively 100% in their face with what are we going to do to make my daughter better. And I keep getting told that I'm a bad guy and that I'm not allowed to talk to any of them.
Well, Frank, if you're getting in their face and if you're coming at this with anger as well, which I think is an initial reaction that you have, you may be shutting down the lines of communication because you're coming at this with guns blazing. And if anybody would be afraid in your situation, your fear is totally understandable. But you're not going strong on empathy and curiosity and finding out, how can I help? How can I be part of this healing process? People will be much more receptive to that than to your anger.
Does that make sense to you, even though it's just...
Because they've already made you bad. So if you come in with anger, you're just reinforcing that. So what Alice is describing is a way to kind of make them question, oh, well, this guy doesn't seem half bad. This guy actually is humble and concerned and wanting to come alongside.
So if I were you, I would try to find out who the primary caregiver is now and try to connect with that person with apology, with confession, with, hey, I know that my approach has not helped the situation, and I want to find out what I can do better, because all I want is healing for my daughter and for my family, and I'm open to feedback about what I can do differently.
We're for you, my friend, and we feel for you deeply. But I really do
understand I lack in the humility.
Oh, there you go, Frank. There's so much grace in what you just said. And if you can do that here with us, you can start to do that with your family, with the providers. Now, it may seem like all doors are closed, but if you're persistently humble and gentle and calm, that has an effect. That will reopen a door somewhere for you.
Somewhere, yep.
And I'm wondering, too, is there something with your wife that she would almost want to use your daughter to push you away? Are there things that need to be repaired there? Are there confessions you need to make to her?
Look into that and see if there's something that might make things better in that area. I think that's a good way to go. I'm going to send you this book, Healing is a Choice, and then I hope and pray that that's going to help you there. And I'll send Take Your Life Back also. Really sorry for what you're going through. You know, anytime somebody reports something, we need to listen to that. We need to act on that. But then sometimes, you know, it doesn't play out. It's a mistake not to listen and investigate. That's the main thing.
Right.
Listen and investigate. And I really feel
Well,
for him.
and there are, unfortunately, it's kind of a double standard. There are men who are wrongly accused because they will be believed, right? Meaning the females will be believed. And so sometimes some women, unfortunately, will weaponize that.
And we're saying that almost every reporting is valid. There are exceptions to that. We're saying you need to listen,
there are
but
exceptions,
sometimes it isn't true. And so we're not making a statement toward either thing. You've got to do both and in these situations. All right. I'm really glad that he called. Let's go to our next caller. Who would you guys like to go to?
Let's talk with Sarah in Orlando, Florida, listening on WTLN.
All right. Sarah, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'm calling. There's a couple things that have been going on in our family. My daughter, just to kind of make it short and quick, she was diagnosed with cirrhosis, stage 3 of the liver. Yeah, we didn't realize, you know, she's been living on her own since she was right out of college, like 19 time frame, moved to Texas. We didn't realize that she had been drinking quite a lot in that time frame from the time of 19 to now 28. She just recently got hospitalized, actually at the beginning of the year, like mid of the year in May, and she was in the hospital for 2 months. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. No one understood. No one knew what was going on with her. So then they finally come up with this diagnosis after a liver biopsy that she had stage 3 liver cirrhosis.
Wow.
So they were like, have you drank? I mean, she's like, no, I don't drink that much. You know, no one knew that she drank as much as she drank, but she also was predisposed when she was in 16 or so. She was in a car accident, and so they had to give her these prednisone shots in her back. And apparently from what the liver doctor was telling us, that was something that triggered her to have more susceptibility for cirrhosis because of the steroids, I guess, affected your body, your liver functions or whatever.
So
anyway,
what's the question for us then?
As a teen.
How could we help?
My question, I'm sorry. My question is, I don't know how to handle the situation because she's moved back home since the hospitalization. And, you know, she's been drinking. Like, the doctors told her absolutely no drinking or it's going to get worse, you know, because she's at stage 3. And I have been finding bottles upon bottles of whiskey.
And so when you found those bottles of whiskey, what did you do?
Well, first of all, I approached it, you know, as calmly as I could. First I was flabbergasted that she would remotely try and do this. So I talked to her about it and I said, you know, you can't be doing this. Do you not understand the consequences of this, that you're going to die if you do not finish, you know, stop drinking altogether, because that's what the doctor has, you know, told you. And, you know, she's, you know, been dealing with a lot of stress and she's got anxiety and depression. And so she was blaming it on that. And I said, I understand, you know, let's talk to a counselor. And she won't take any advice to do that. Like, she won't talk to anyone. And, you know, and it's been going on. She promises, I won't do it again. And then another week goes by and I found 3 or 4 more bottles.
Your daughter is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know how to function without it. So just telling her not to do it, she doesn't know how to not do it. She can't imagine life not doing it, okay?
So you say to her, man, I really hear about all this stress that you're going under. I found a meeting on Thursday night of recovering people that been in the same situation you've been in, and so we're all going to go together. Thursday night, Wednesday night. You find the meeting, you tell her we're going.
How would she react to that?
She would say, I'm not going, because I've said this to her, because she knows I've called her out on the alcoholism, and it runs in her father was an alcoholic as well, so I think it's a hereditary thing, and she understands that, and she knows that she has a problem, and she knows that she's hiding it is the number one reason why it's a problem, but my biggest concern is, even though she knows and we all know that she's suffering from alcoholism, yet she's not willing to do anything to improve the situation or even overcome it.
So we're gonna share some strategies with you when we come back of what to do about it now.
We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we've been trying to think of the best alternatives, and I'll just let Alice run through those for you there, because we don't want you to be in the place of simply doing nothing but telling her she needs to do something.
It's a difficult situation, Sarah.
Tell us in brief, Sarah, is her father involved, and is he living with you all?
No. Her father we've been divorced since she was 3. And he is not. I mean, she has a relationship with him, but he's nowhere near us. And
okay, that answers my question. And why is she dependent on you? Why is she living with you?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, she's been going through. She went through a breakup at the beginning of the year. She moved back from Texas, and she lived with us briefly for just the time until she got back on her feet and started working here in Florida. And then she met this guy, and they started dating, and it was just not a good relationship overall. They were both they both drank a lot, apparently.
I'm going to interrupt. Will she be living with you for the foreseeable future?
She's living with us until, she's in the process of, working and saving up money to get her own place. And, which she understands that's the case because it's not a permanent situation.
And is us her stepfather?
I'm sorry?
You said us? Do you have a husband now?
Yes. Yes, my husband, and he is not handling the situation fully. He doesn't really like the fact that she's living with us, and we've had some serious marital problems over the time of just, relating that way. But again, I'm not going to put her out, and let her be on her own. I mean,
we want to give you another suggestion then, because we're afraid for her life, as you are as well, and for the level of depression that she's suffering and medicating with alcohol. Now, she may refuse everything, but Sarah, acknowledging that there's been some family chaos that has made the situation worse for her, perpetrated by her stepfather recently, and you're an imperfect mom, taking that humble confessional approach and inviting her, even if you won't go to that meeting with me, would you come to see a psychiatrist, to see a therapist with me? Because there's a lot of pain that you're carrying, and I've been part of it. And I want to help find that way out of that heavy pain and depression for you. How might she respond to that gentle approach?
She'll say, okay, because I've done it that way. I mean, I've come at it in every single
She'll say,
approach.
okay, and then what will happen? And then what will happen?
And she won't do anything. She won't come with me. I will try it again. But
when you actually make the appointment and you say, okay, we're going now, she'll refuse? See, I think you're going to...
I haven't made an appointment.
Okay, but I think you're going to have...
I will do that.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to do all the legwork and say, okay, you agreed, and so there's an appointment at this time, and we're going, right? And if she refuses, then you go to the appointment.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing, too, I think... giving her some empathy in that you understand, because she's been drinking for so long and her body had this condition, she's become dependent, right? Probably without even realizing how dependent. And so now, what that does is it keeps you from emotionally growing. So her emotional growth and coping has been stunted, right? And so you understand that it's probably terrifying for her to not drink, right? So a psychiatrist who is an addiction specialist could work with her and give her meds that will help to block the cravings for the alcohol and will help her manage it, because it's really frightening to think of just stopping.
And I actually wouldn't ask her to stop at this point. You already have. Instead, I would say, I want to help find the replacement, because alcohol's the only thing that's probably making you feel better. And I understand that. And I want to help find an additional better solution than just drinking.
Because we know drinking's going to kill you. So if that's not your goal, and I wonder, does she have a death wish? Because if that's...
I think she does.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's that depression, right?
Okay. I'm glad that you called. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible for her with the workbook, and I'm going to send for you, Take Your Life Back, because it's all about how do we help someone, how do we respond to their needs, not get, involved and become either the enabler or codependent. And I hope and pray that that's going to be a help to you. And we're really, really sad about something so tragic as this, and she's still doing damage to herself. All right, let's go to another caller here real quick. Who would you like to go to there, Jill? You want to pick somebody for us there?
Let's go to Jessie. She's a Club New Life.
Okay. Jessie, how are you today?
Hi. Thank you
for
taking my call.
Sure.
Steve, I just want to say your foreword to Dr. Dave Stoops' book is so heartfelt and so touching, and it's very obvious that you miss him as a colleague, and I just wanted to tell you that it was beautifully written.
Thank you.
Well,
wait, we've got music there. I jumped the gun there on you. The music's playing, and I've got to go to this break. So we'll hear from you right after this. You're listening to New Life Live, and of course she's referring to Dave's book, Living Well, Finishing Strong, and that's one of those books you can get free shipping, and 10% I think is the discount on it. And of course that supports us also, and absolutely everybody at New Life sure misses Dave. We'll take a break, come right back after this.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we were just about to hear from our Club New Life member here. So, okay, sorry, had to interrupt. And how can we help?
Well, I have renewed a relationship with an individual, a gentleman that I knew and first met when we were in our 20s, and we worked at a resort in Maine together for the summer. Mm-hmm. The relationship was a lot of fun. There was an attraction there. And after the season ended, we kept in touch for about 3 years. I moved out to California. He came and visited me and asked me at that time if I thought maybe that he and I had a future together. At the time, I was not ready to settle down with anybody, and I told him no. And he left and went back to his home in North Carolina. The Lord got a hold of him, and he got into Christian ministry and eventually into Christian counseling, which is what he does now. Okay. I became a believer out in California around 1976. And life happened, and 40 years went by, and during when COVID was first happening, I happened to find him on the internet, and I sent an email to his work address, and within 24 hours he responded, and he told me he couldn't believe that I had reached out and that I had found him. So I sort of thought that might be the Lord opening it up. Anyway, the long story short is, he sent me flowers and cards, and he gave me the impression he was interested in renewing the relationship. And about 2 or 3 months into it, he began to cut me off and tell me that he couldn't follow my conversation, that I would jump from subject to subject, and he was confused, and so he just wanted to start emailing instead of talking on the phone. And emailing and texting are so impersonal, and it was very difficult. And then he told me that he was going to a relationship counselor to talk about our relationship because he couldn't cope with it. Anyway, the long and the short of it is he invited me out last year for Thanksgiving, and I did go and spent a week on his farm with him, and it was very obvious, and he said he had prayed about it and had peace about it, but it was very obvious that he was uncomfortable the entire time that I was there.
Yeah, okay.
This year, I have asked him to come and visit me. So the question I have is, I don't understand the flip-flopping. He's now going to visit a friend of his that he grew up with in Washington State and said, well, we spend every Thanksgiving together. And now I'm wondering, then why did you invite me for Thanksgiving last year when you normally spend Thanksgiving with her? And for someone who's a Christian counselor to be sending me these mixed messages, I'm confused.
Okay. Now, quick question just to clarify for me. When was the last time he was married?
He's never been.
Never been. Now, that's got to tell you something there, doesn't it?
Well, yes, and I must mention he had a difficult relationship with his mom when he was a little boy.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say to you. I don't think this has anything to do with you other than you being there at Thanksgiving didn't cure him of whatever it is that he's never gotten over, maybe with mom or other things there, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Steve.
No.
I'm wondering about the fact that, okay, in your 20s, when you're young, and the relationship didn't go the direction he wanted, I'm sure he was very hurt by that. But I'm wondering if he's kept you in a very idealized place. Right? You were like the antithesis to his mother, in a sense, right? You were the good one. And all these years, he's never married, so you've kind of perhaps stayed in that place. You coming back into his life now as a real person, 40 years older, right? You're not ideal because none of us are. And so to have you in front of him, I think he's running scared a bit. I think he doesn't know what to make of it because you're not matching his ideal picture of that 20-year-old that he once knew and that he has distorted over time.
Yeah.
Have you directly asked him?
He's had this fantasy.
Yes, you've been his fantasy.
Well, he doesn't get...
But have you been direct with him?
Opportunity.
Well, we make the opportunity though to ask a question such as, "I'm interested. I want to try a serious relationship with you to see if we can go anywhere. What do you think about that?" Why is it difficult for you to ask that question of him?
Well, it's not, because I actually asked him that in the spring of 2020, and he said he was willing to explore it. He was willing, and then all of a sudden, there's this 180, especially, now I no longer have long brunette hair.
And so have you directly asked him again, now that we've been talking another year or two, now do you want to do anything about this relationship or not? Because I feel you pulling back from me.
He won't give me the opportunity.
So here's what I want to say. I want to jump in and say the movie that does not apply here is he's just not that into you. That doesn't apply. Here's what I think the movie title would be. He just can't be that into you. He doesn't know how. When you're talking on the phone, you can talk and talk. When somebody's talking to him in counseling, he's in control. He can cut them off. He can limit that. It's very hard for a person who's been single all their life to just listen to another person because they spend so much time in their own head, their own world. I just don't want you to take this on yourself as something you do or don't have, your hair this or that. This is a man that has not been able to sustain a committed relationship. And it really could be he never got over mom, that stuff you were talking about. And maybe that's why he's a counselor. He thought becoming a counselor would fix all of that. And we've seen the counselors that we work with. See, it doesn't fix stuff when you just go to counseling and study it. You have to do the work that's there. And I'm really sorry that it's just not worked out that way. Anything else you want to add to this real quick, Jill or Alice?
Jessie, I do think there are two things about you that you can take a look at. telling me a couple times, well, he hasn't given me the opportunity. That's a very passive approach when this relationship and what happens to it is important to you, and you could be more proactive than that. So consider that. And when he gave you that feedback, it's hard to follow you in conversation. That may have been more about him, but you are a talkative woman. You are. You've got a lot to say. And so that's also another good piece of you to look at to decide, do I like how I am these ways? Or do I want to change? Do I want to alter them, whether or not I'm in relationship with him?
All right. I hope that's helpful to you. And, let me just send you Dave's book. It's a great one. Great book on living well, finishing strong. Really sorry.
I'm wondering, what about How We Love, too?
It's in that. Yep. How We Love's coming your way also. Relationships are tough, and, especially in the area of conversation. My wife and I were just talking about that I have excessive word count needs in the morning, and she has excessive word count needs in the evening. And it's just a total mismatch, and we've never been happier in the entire time of our marriage. It works out. Speaking of mismatch, Larry, we want people to match anything that's been given to us, and we want people to help us by putting us in there. We want people to join Club New Life. This is the time of year to think about giving. Talk to us.
It is. Without giving, the ministry just doesn't get to do what it's supposed to do. And it's doing it really well right now. God is blessing it. He's honoring it. So we need your help. However you can give, one-time gift, online, in the mail, Club New Life, however. We'd appreciate your gift. Mm-hmm. And Steve, next week, 11th, the December 12th to 14th is the Restore Workshop. And Alice is going to read a testimony from the recent one.
Before I came, I was stuck riding the merry-go-round of pain, darkness, no hope, feeling sick and trapped. I was trying to survive on my own, but sinking more and more into depression and numbness. This workshop has been so freeing. Finding other women who share my same pain and learning how to claim truth for myself from God has changed me. I see now I have hope, and I understand God's love and grace for me. I am leaving with hope and support, assurance, and understanding of who God says I am and how He sees me. I'm not crazy, I'm not lost, I'm not alone, and I am not at the end.
There you go.
Ladies, if you've been betrayed in any way and you need to get your heart right, restored, this is the place to do it and the time. Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple, and it's hard to get you ladies to come sometimes. You think you're not worth it. It's His problem, not mine. But you can feel better about yourself. You can see how God can work in your life and restore your life. So give us a call and sign up today.
You're worth it, and you deserve the end result of that emotional freedom and resolution that comes. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Larry. We'll be back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Final segment here. And so we always reserve the best for last. Who are we going to go to here, guys? Who is it going to be?
It looks like EJ.
EJ is the man of the hour or the woman of the hour? I don't know which. EJ, how are you and which are you?
I am the woman of the hour.
There we go. All right. Thank you.
Good answer, EJ.
So how you doing and how could we help?
Well, I have called several times over the years to get your all's advice and prayers, and somehow I end up where I am over again. But I feel like that this time is different, and God has taken me, plucked me out of the many relationship failures and put me in the wilderness, but has put a lot of Christian women around me and people in general to help me get through a situation. Just very quickly, I was with my ex-boyfriend for 2 years. We got engaged. We're going to move to Georgia together. The weekend we were to move to Georgia, I'd already quit my job, given up the house, and was getting ready to leave. The day before we were to leave, he decided that he didn't want me to go. So I was jobless, homeless, and fiancé-less at this time. Was devastated. I went and stayed with my mother and started job hunting. I have a fairly decent resume, so I was going all over the country interviewing. And we had started talking again during this time. Like, it would be in 2-week intervals. We would talk, and he would tell me, you know, I love you. You're the one for me. You know, we're gonna make this work. And then he would ghost me for 2 weeks, and then the same thing would happen. And then we'd ghost me for 3 weeks, and the same thing. And finally, 3 months ago, he had said, you know, I got your wedding ring. We're going to do this, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And that was the last time I heard his voice, and that was 3 months ago. I reached out to him 6 weeks after that, and he said, look, I'm in a new relationship. You're somebody that I used to know. We no longer have a bond. You need to move on.
EJ,
whoa.
EJ,
and I'm feeling,
what about your childhood taught you that you deserve pain and mistreatment and that you're not going to get better than that?
Well, I heard a caller today, last segment, 19-year-old moved in with a man that was abusive and on drugs, and the first thing I thought was, I want to talk to her so that I can tell her, don't end up being a 50-year-old woman that continues to accept this stuff. Learn who you are in Christ, and
EJ,
understand
EJ, is
it
that,
doesn't matter that your dad drives a truck.
Is that your story?
That's my story. My dad was a truck driver. He never was around. He'd tell me he was going to come in, and then he wouldn't, and just abandonment issues through the roof. I've been to counseling throughout my life. I just finished up some EMDR, which I think probably has helped some, because I'm not good enough, no longer screams at me.
Good.
But at this point, I was 6 months ago, because all this happened 6 months ago. Before 6 months ago, I was fearless. You know, I'm in my car right now driving to Dallas. I took a new position in Dallas, and normally I would be so excited and ready to go, and there are so many churches I want to visit out there. It's amazing, but I'm terrified.
Okay.
I'm just terrified
So-
to make
so-
any mistakes.
All right, so ask us the question that you want us to answer in just a couple of minutes. You know, we're almost out of time, into the program. How could we help you the best? What do you want to know?
How I feel like my personality and my soul was ripped out of my body, and I don't feel like I'm the same person that I was 6 months ago. How do I get that person back?
Okay.
Well, EJ,
how do I stop
EJ,
being terrified of messing up?
EJ, this man blindsided you.
More than once.
More than once, yeah. And this tapped into your abandonment by your dad. So you've got the terror of that little girl saying, oh no, I'm living it again, right? So that's part. And sometimes when things are stirred up, and I know you've done the work, but sometimes we need to go back in because there's a new pocket. And if you're terrified, then you need to stay the course and do the work to help you work through it. See, if you're saying, if I can avoid making a mistake, then this won't happen again. And that gives you some control. Sometimes there are people that come into our lives that are very broken. So part of it is seeing the signs of the brokenness. But sometimes, you know what? We do get blindsided. And sometimes it's just not our fault. But it taps into that well of stuff that happened. And so I would say, stay the course, push yourself. As adults, sometimes we're afraid, but we have to do it anyway.
And please be patient with yourself. Your entire life was just decimated by this man. And then those signs of hope were also ripped away from you. Yeah. So this will take a little time to reestablish that foundation.
Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If I told you that your makeup isn't great, would you believe me if I said that right now?
Knowing that I don't wear a lot of makeup, I probably would.
Well, wouldn't you question my judgment, seeing how I have no idea what you look like and what your makeup is?
Oh, you're saying from the phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
And so this man that you're basing...
I would look in the mirror and I'd be like...
Yeah, but this man does not know the makeup of who you are. He can't see you. And for you to base your evaluation of yourself on a man that cannot see, he doesn't have the ability to see the real you. That's what makes me sad, because he is not entitled to pass judgment or have a valid opinion of you. He can't see you. And it's all about him and what mood he's in. And he doesn't care if one day he's telling you, I'm going to be there, and the next day I'm not going to show up. He doesn't care. He doesn't see you. He doesn't feel you. And so just as I wouldn't be expecting you to change your makeup based on my opinion when I don't even see you, I want you to know that God sees you, not that guy. And God loves you, and God is for you. And I think God's so for you that he protected you from getting married to that guy. A lot of people don't find this stuff out until they're married.
Yeah, and EJ, I think your father really missed out.
He sure did. He sure did. What a sad situation.
I want you to brace yourself, because I think this ex-fiance, I think he's going to pop up again, and I don't want you to be fooled back into a sick hope with him. So I want you to gather your good women around you and make that commitment that you will not start it up with
Close
this guy
the door
again.
on this guy.
Yeah.
He's not reliable.
So what do you think about that?
I know that. And
he lacks the character that you need.
Absolutely true.
Okay.
You deserve much more.
You sure do. I'm glad you called, and I'm going to send you this little book. Healing is a choice. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. We all get it. You could be better. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.